Thank you very much. All protocol observed. I wish I had a speech to make. I don't have one. When you come to talk about youth, unemployment, I don't have to read from my speech. It has been prepared, it's there. But let me talk. 6 years ago, we were in Malibu, the summit, the meeting of heads of state. It was on youth, and a 23-year-old boy stood in front of us all. My gray hairs, okay, the president of Nigeria was there, president of Kenya, Gambia, all of them were there, talking youth. And he had the inner strength to stand and say to us, hey, my heads of state, my fathers, my grandfathers, I have a message for you. If you don't take care of the youths will take care of you. What happened 3 months later? You had the Tunis upright starting. If we don't take care of the youths will take care of us. And I always say this, and it's a sharp reminder for me whenever I talk about youth and unemployment. I know my first assignment in Nigeria, in this wonderful Lagos. Whenever I come to Lagos, I know I've visited 5 countries at one go, including my own. Lagos is the melting pot. The population of Lagos is the sum population of the Gambia, which I proudly come from, Sierra Leone, Senegal, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau put together. So when we have this nightmare, when we are coming and people tell us, you're going to Nigeria, they'll eat you in Lagos, they'll still. I had that thing at the back of my mind. And when I came to Nigeria, 2 months after, I started loving Nigeria, because what you see is what you get. And the first phrase which I had the audacity to use at the General Assembly, I was taught here in Falmo, says to me, waiting concern agri with overload. It sounds simple, but it's saying a lot. I must say that since everything has been said, there are some facts that we must highlight. First of all, I doff my hat to Ford Foundation, CSR, and whilst they've done so well, I challenge them that we'll have this event annually and let it be more time be given to it, and let's have blueprint involved. I'm surprised that my colleagues are not here. We're talking about youth women, the women group, UNICEF, etc. I think they should have been here because the timing is right. It says change. The government wants change. The change must start with change in attitude, change in mindset, and one of the first changes we're going to talk about is to rebrand Nigeria. Nigeria as a flagship. Nigeria, even when we talk about quality standards, etc., we have programs here that are running, that I am supporting, UNIDO is supporting, that is talking about quality standard and metrology. But information, data sharing is a bit missing, and as if we're shy to publicize what we are doing, or we don't have a platform for all of this. 2 quick things I'm going to do. One, I'm going to highlight some of the things that are of concern to me in the general issue. Then I'll mention a few things that UNIDO is doing and supporting in line with what we've been discussing. The first thing, I must say that it cannot, and I underline not, be contested that private sector has a critical role to play in addressing the issue of unemployment and youth problem. They have a critical role, but it's the responsibility of the government to create the enabling environment. I always say government has no business being in business, but government is a shareholder of every business. The better you do, the more the government gains. So they are shareholders. They must create an enabling environment for this. Okay? The second is that education, degree. Some of us suffered from the paper qualification syndrome, where we went to university to study because either we liked the teacher who was teaching us, or we just thought that it was fancy to become a doctor, to be, she's gone, microbiology. Some of us, the things we study at universities as scientists, we've not handled in the past 40 years. We are more of diplomats and the like. So we must talk about education and training, making it demand-driven. Let it be demand-driven. Let that be the platform where the private sector, the end users, employment in government, sir, I beg, is saturated. You don't have room to employ. It is the private sector that can employ. And if you are going to do something for the private sector, let them be involved in your policies, in your decision, even your program review, so that they'll help you fashion out what will create the fastest impact, okay? And will work on the low-hanging fruits. Okay, so let's have that platform in talking about education. And education, I must say that for some of us, I know I come from a country where in those days our parents would say, oh no, you cannot go and become an actor. You have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Okay, and one thing you observe in Nigeria is that you have graduates of engineering who go to the factory to start work, and the technician has to teach them how to operate the system. Because there is not that practical training, there is not that attachment which help you to be prepared for the world employment. They have a degree, fine. Their parents are proud, they went to the graduation. But how marketable are they? How useful will they be to solve the problems? Well, now, I beg your indulgence that if I talk as if I'm not the UN, please forgive me. I talk because I'm passionate to this subject, and this is something we must handle. We must have a platform to discuss the CV, the curriculum, the school program, etc., so that they become driven and demand-driven. Human capital is something that should be capital for economic growth. Skills development and training, appropriate education, enterprise-based training, transition of young people to the world of work, use of government programs and vision to create new jobs for young people. You see, the jobs in the government are the civil service jobs. For you to diversify the source of income, for you to create sustainable wealth, for you to use the creative capacity, you must involve the private sector. So that when I first went as the rep to Ethiopia, it was a socialist government. There were lots of dead industries there. Things have changed now. But one of the things that is coming is they make use of what they have been given. Textile, leather, and garment, and agro industries, including the coffee. Okay? But in Nigeria, I must say that the last time I was there, I took 17 ministers to Malaysia on study tour. And somebody was so impressed that he said, oh, look at the palm kernels, look at what they're doing with it. And the head of the institute said to the Minister of Industry, I'm sorry, sir, this is from Nigeria. Palm kernel was not in Malaysia. They imported it from Nigeria, and now you have 22 products. 22 products from palm. Nothing is wasted. Okay? Yet, the father of palm kernel is here. Okay? You don't even produce proper particle board from the palm stem. Okay? It's done in Malaysia. So this is why I say that most times Nigeria do not appreciate what they have. We talk about energy. Most times you say energy, we think of fossil energy. There's one area that we've just come from. We did a survey of mini hydro potential. There are 300 possible mini hydro sites from water. You have what we call in Ethiopia 13 months of sunshine, because you don't have to go looking for sun, you have to hide from the sun. You have so much trash, biomass, biogas, okay? What are we saying? Are we really saying, now God, you've given it us all to us, please come and show us how to use it, or you start the process? It's all there. Okay? So this is why when we talk about change, I jump for change. Because I don't see, I remember when we had the internally displaced people in Taraba State, was it Taraba State? They said I should go there and help with resettling the people. We looked at the whole setup and said, if I start injecting money into helping the IDPs to resettle in a foreign place where I build schools, hospitals for them, and the locals would not have, what would that cause? I'll be declaring war. So what did we do? We saw water flowing. There was a tea factory that was dying. So we said, now, why don't we put a mini hydro plant there for the community to revive the tea industry, dry tea, export tea, and then create jobs for everybody around there, including the IDPs, and start re-exporting within the local market of the tea. And just recently, we formally commissioned that, and it's something that the state is proud of. Okay? And what happens? The fact is that the surplus electricity from the mini hydro is not just for the tea. It's supplying the schools, it's supplying the hospitals, and it's supplying some local industries around there. Okay, this is what it is. I went with the British High Commissioner once, and we saw women in the morning. They get up. There's one state here that is called the Salt State of Nigeria. They go get salt brine, they come, go get firewood, children at the back, behind their backs, they put on the fire, boil up the water, collect the salt, take it to the market, sell it, and come back. The value chain is not looked at. Salt lake, salt potential. You have the sunshine. What is simple? You produce a pump that is regulated from the salt lake. You put solar stills to boil up the water. The water is boiled up. The salt is collected. Efficiency 300%. The water that you collect becomes pure water. You package it. The salt, you get bodies like UNICEF to come and help iodize, package, and sell. What are you doing? You are creating jobs. At the same time, you are employing women and young people. It's a matter of being forward-looking. There are lots of things we can do, okay? I said recently that some time ago, Africa was considered the worst. Indeed, when you look at statistics, Africa has the highest concentration of least developed countries. But that's by choice. God did not make them the least developed country because they believe in harvesting, exporting, no value addition, okay? And even in the exporting, the harvesting, the wastage is so high. But if you can do this simple auditing along the value chain, not only would you enhance your export, you'll be creating jobs as you go along, okay? And unfortunately, it will take a lot of the like of Fund Foundation calling for this, to educate people on how and what could be done. I had to go to Igbo State for my first mission when I first came to Nigeria. I think you had Sam Igbo as the governor. We saw what could be done in Igbo State. I came back, I went there. The factories are there, but the factory would not process itself. You have to get the agricultural products coming in. Unfortunately, mindset change. You have to convince the locals and the youth to go into agriculture, to process. I understand most of them would rather sell this card, a recharge card, etc. On the street, rather than going into agriculture. This is why you have to convince them that, and of course guarantee that the market is there for you. That's just general statement. UNIDO. We have an enterprise center in Delta where we teach entrepreneurs to go into business. It's the whole value chain, from garment to leather. In Zaire we have the leather center, the shoemaking. They're there. We have the youth program that we're doing with Hewlett Packard, which is called UNIDO Life Program. And this life program is to address cross-section of some of the things we're talking about here. We have the salt program, we have mini hydro programs, we have an issue of replicating what we did in Songhai, Benin, the Songhai Center, among others. I think I can read a speech, I can go on, but I think most things have been said. My contact is here. You want to know how we can partner, how UNIDO can help, I think it will be done. But we have a publication that was done that this is the era, this is the year for Africa, the year of commodities, the year of value addition. The market is there, and we can actually determine. We were doing some calculation when I was a permanent representative in New York, some of us sitting, and just looking at the potential of Africa. And if Africa decides that we're not going to export anything, the world will come begging. I guess I'm right. Because from cocoa to peanuts, we have it all. Energy, we have it all. Okay? The problem is we are not looking at the whole value chain. I told you that we said that Africa was the bottom billion, the 1 billion poorest people in the world in Africa. Today, we've changed that position. It's the fastest billion because growth rate, potentials are highest in Africa. We have to think inwards, and then we can develop along the lines of the Swiss, the Germans, and it's straight. We have it all, we are poor. Switzerland has nothing, they are rich. Switzerland has absolutely nothing. Okay, I know, I've lived there. Okay, they're rich. I've lived in Austria. So what is the challenge? Okay, are we insulting God? That we are sorry you gave us, we don't care. Okay, I am open for bilaterals, and we are here to help Nigeria, and I hope we can continue from where I left last time. But the challenge is with you.
Thank you.
Use this platform. Thank you very much.